What is the Prairie Arts Center? To me, it is the opportunity for all of the multi-talented people in a rural community to display and show their talents to the rest of the community in and around Madison.
The Prairie Arts Center is a community theater located in Madison, Minnesota, right next to the courthouse. The building is an old Lutheran church that was sold to the city and repurposed, and a group of community theater enthusiasts got together and just started kind of transforming the building over a lot of years into what we have today, which is a very intimate space with up-to-date lighting and sound and a great stage space that people generally love to work in. I became involved at the Prairie Arts Center in 1999, and since that time I have gotten to wear a lot of hats. I started out bringing my needle, because I am a seamstress, and helping to repair and finish costumes, watch children when they're downstairs, they need someone to supervise them. I was involved in my first Country Christmas in 1999, and I thought it was such a cool thing for a small community to be doing that I asked a board member how I could get involved. And that board member, Dick Hauk, everybody knows Dick Hauk in town, and he said, well, we'll put you on the board and you can get involved and see what you can do.
Oh, Rosemary, yes. Rosemary Hendrickson, she a great gal. And for many years, in fact, I think it was probably 18 years that we put on a Country Christmas in Madison in December. And our last production was in 2013, but she was instrumental in putting together a lot of these shows over the years, and still is on the board and an active member.
I've probably been going to shows here since a really long time ago, since I was very little. My grandma would always take us here to see the shows. And the ones that stick in my head the most are the Christmas shows that they do, the Country Christmases. And I had been a part of those since 1997. There's a picture in the back hanging up of little me back 19 years ago, a part of that Christmas show.
I would say involvement in community theater has shaped us as human beings. I see community theater as a truly human endeavor where people have to really connect with one another and learn to trust each other and work together to get to the end of a production.
Kids getting together with adults, for instance, I think this promotes a sense of community, and they can learn a lot about themselves when they're up there on the stage and trying to learn lines, and just overall sense of being included in something that's bigger than themselves. With all the productions that I've been in, I think it made me grow as a person. Very importantly, you have to work with people that you haven't met before, so you have to learn to get along and produce something together.
I think the Prairie Arts Center is a cherished establishment in Madison that really keeps the arts going. It makes the arts accessible to people who it normally wouldn't be, or people who used to be involved in the arts in some form or another and still want to do performing.
Well, I think it's a unique situation in Madison. Our city has supported us in all that we do,
I think the Prairie Arts Center is especially unique because it's a funny old building with a lot of character. It has sustained a core group of patrons and supporters who've really grown with it and stayed with it. It really is a labor of love by a lot of people.
Something else that's really cool about the Prairie Arts Center and the community that it forms, there have been multiple shows here where there's 3, or I think we've even had 4 generations of families on stage at the same time. For me personally, I've had my grandma and my mom and my brothers. So a lot of times we'll have your real family and then you'll have your performance family here, and you get to put on these great shows with all of them together, and it's a really special feeling.
My absolute favorite memory of involvement at the Prairie Arts Center would have to be my involvement with the Summer Shakespeare for Young People project that we did. We did 4 of those shows with Carmen Fernholz, and I would direct the kids, and I would do the costuming, and it was just every time we did Much Ado About Nothing. The first year we were going to do that, Carmen didn't believe that we had time or the kids would want to memorize a real Shakespeare play, so he got a young people's edition, and during the read-through, we threw it out. And that night, we had 1 copy of the real Shakespeare play, Much Ado About Nothing, and they did the real Shakespeare play, and really well done, really well done. And it was an immense experience. I just can't say how much I enjoyed watching those kids grow into the language of Shakespeare, to really get those classic characters, and just a really special group of young people. And when they went out to the high school, hands down, those kids who were involved in Summer Shakespeare, they were great theater kids. And they all went on to become great human beings, I believe.
I think a couple of my favorite productions here at the Prairie Arts Center would be Romeo and Juliet, and I played Romeo in that production, and that was kind of a first taste of Shakespeare for me as a high school student. Being Romeo, you know, you have all of these lines to memorize. It's a lot of lines. That in itself was very, very gratifying to get done with the show, and you're like, I said all of those lines, like, holy cow, that was really a lot of lines. And to understand what you're saying, too, when you get into Shakespeare, it's a completely different language.
Thinking back on all the plays I've done, probably over 50 or so, my favorite was probably I Do, I Do. It was Mary Melby and myself, and we're the only 2 characters. So we had to learn a lot of lines, learn a lot of music, and coordinate everything, and I think that's probably the best production that I was involved in.
In the future, I would like to see the Prairie Arts Center keep going. I would like to see community theater continue to thrive in the Madison area. I would hope that young people, as people like me and some of us who've been so instrumental in driving the organization for so many years, as we kind of wear out or our health begins to fail, that there would be somebody else who pick up the stick and keep going to the next lap, because it's there's really nothing else quite like it. A sporting event doesn't touch the heart the same way that community theater can. It's a powerful medium. It's a powerful way to grow, totally. And I just hope that it continues.
What I would like to really end with is saying that how much I, as a director, appreciate the broad-based support for the Prairie Arts Center. So to have a community supporting what I love to do, it doesn't get much better than that.
Visit pioneer.org/postcards to catch up on missed episodes and to find out more about your favorite segments. This program on Pioneer Public Television is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. Additional support provided by Mark and Margaret Yakel-Julien in honor of Shalom Hill Farm, a nonprofit rural education retreat center in a beautiful prairie setting near Windham in southwestern Minnesota. ShalomHillFarm.org. The Arrowwood Resort and Conference Center, your ideal choice for Minnesota resorts, offering luxury townhomes, 18 holes of golf, Darling Reflections Spa, Big Splash Water Park, and much more. Alexandria, Minnesota. Explore hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for a great vacation or a place to hold an event. ExploreAlex.com. Tri-State Brain and Spine Institute, with locations in Alexandria, Edina, Crookston, and Maple Grove. Doctors dedicated to evaluating and treating all types of brain and spine problems, no matter how complex.